Are you planning a trip to Florida and thinking about bringing your gun? If so, you're in the right place. In this video, we're going to discuss the laws that you'll need to know before you cross into the state. Carrying guns in your car, reciprocity with concealed carry permits, legal storage of firearms, and Florida's stand your ground law. In this video, I'm going to share the basics that you'll need to know. I'll also provide additional resources because I'm guessing you're the type that's going to want to dig deeper. Grab your coffee. Let's go. Many of you wanted a way to support the channel. I put a link down below where you can buy me a cup of coffee if you would so desire. Thank you in advance. Can you carry a loaded firearm in your car in Florida? That's topic number one. In Florida, you can carry a loaded handgun in your vehicle if you meet the following requirements. You have to be over the age of 18, and the firearm has to be concealed as well as securely encased. Securely encased means in a glove compartment, whether or not locked, snapped in a holster, in a gun case, whether or not locked, in a zippered case, or in a closed box or container which requires a lid or cover to be opened for access. I made an in-depth video on the legal requirements of carrying a firearm inside your vehicle without a concealed carry permit. I'll put a link to that below. If you're a concealed carry permit holder in another state, you'll want to check with the Florida Department of Agriculture to verify that your state has reciprocity with Florida. Reciprocity is not uniform and each state has their own kind of specific rules. Either way, if your state has reciprocity with Florida, you have to comply with Florida concealed carry laws. If you're a non-Florida resident trying to use a CCW here in Florida, you have to be 21 years of age, you have to be a US citizen, and you must have your home state CCW permit in your possession. There's a lot of concealed carry laws that you're gonna have to be familiar with if you're gonna consider yourself proficient. We can't get into all that here. Down in the description, I provide a link to a form. Once you fill out that form, I will send you a PDF document, which is a photocopy of the law, as well as some of my handwritten notes with regards to the prohibited places that you can't go, given that you're probably not gonna do too much more digging if you're not a Florida resident. This is stuff you'll wanna know. We need to talk about the safe storage of firearms. In Florida, if a firearm is not being carried on your person or in your immediate vicinity, then that firearm is subject to storage laws. Listen up to this. You have a legal obligation, punishable as a misdemeanor, to keep your loaded firearms secured if there's children or minors that have access to them, or you reasonably believe that children or minors might have access to them. So there's three requirements there. Not in your possession or direct vicinity, loaded, and in a place where children or minors 16 years of age or younger will have access to them. So if you leave your firearms unsecured and it's loaded and a child gets possession of it and the child displays the firearm in public or in private but in a rude or careless manner, at that point in time, you'd be subject to criminal prosecution as a misdemeanor of the second degree, 60 days in jail, $500 fine. If there's injuries involved or it gets serious, that escalates, but we won't go into that. Secure your firearms if they're stored and loaded. If you'd like my notes on this video, including this particular statute and some of the highlighted portions that I think are important, click the link below, fill out the form, and I'll email you the notes. Part 4, Florida's stand your ground law. Florida is a stand your ground state, and that's great for justified use of force. There's protections from criminal prosecution as well as from civil liability. But this is a really in-depth topic, and I'm not gonna go in depth into it here. I'm gonna suggest you watch Tampa Carey's video. I'll put a link up above. Thanks for watching, and welcome to Florida. We're always looking for more responsible gun owners. Here's a question for you in the comments. What does loaded firearm mean? Does that mean one in the chamber? Or does that mean magazine in the magazine well? It's an interesting question. If you want my answer, you'll find it on the notes that I made in reviewing the statute for this video. Patrick Gross asked the following question. Snapped in a holster bothers me. Does that cover a holster without a hammer snap, such as a Kydex holster? I think what Patrick's referring to here is the tension style holsters that don't have a manual push button type release. I think that's what the statute wants though. So if you're talking about just using a tension holster, I don't know if that form fitting is gonna be enough. I think the chances of that being an issue are probably pretty minimal. If it's disrupting your everyday carry, then I would make an additional adjustment. So if you're carrying that type of holster and it's on your person, you're carrying under concealed carry statute, so you're gonna be good. But if you're carrying it under the provisions that allow you to carry in your car without a concealed carry permit, then that's something you're gonna have to look at. And you'll probably wanna put that holster inside of your glove box or inside your center console. It'd probably be a good idea for a company that makes tension holsters to get an attorney's general opinion on this, and that way they can have something on their side to show that that holster would be good enough to satisfy the requirements of the statute. Hit it hard.